guys, Thomas the Jr. here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Diary of a Wimpy Kid. If you end up enjoying this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to check out those links in the description. The first will head you over to my Discord, second to my Patreon, and third to my PayPal. More shilling will be repeated at the end of the review. And with that being said, let's talk about Diary of the Wimpy Kid, the animated movie, because I have to distinct that now from the live-action Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I suppose, even though that should be kind of obvious from the thumbnail, but still. I will also say that this movie is pretty damn short. It is under an hour. I think it was around just under an hour. So a relatively short film. Starts with our main character named Greg, who is bullied, and he narrates about his friend Raleigh, or Raleigh, or however you pronounce his friend's name. And in turn, he seems to minorly kind of mock Raleigh, or Raleigh. I'll just call him Raleigh. Nothing too crazy. And he's trying to avoid his creepy neighbor Fregley, or Freg. Yeah. And we see that his mom is overprotective, trying to tell him, give him all life lessons. His older brother, Roderick, gives him advice for his first day of middle school, and tells him the story of this bad cheese and this cheese touch. Now, this is based off of one of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid's independent stories. There's probably quite a few of these. I think I actually specifically recall reading this one some way time ago. I never found Diary of a Wimpy Kid something that interesting, to be quite frank. I just never. I got more into in terms of books, Harry Potter, when I was reading stuff before I started writing stuff. Anyway, so he tells them the story of this cheese and to ditch it as much as possible, as well as ditch his friend Raleigh. But despite that, they go to class, or they go to school, and they see that none of their classes seem to match up, but they have some time during lunch hours to just meet up and converse. Greg gets pulled in front of the class because his brother went there, and I guess his brother was quite the rebel rouser, so he gets that treatment. And during lunch, everyone hears Raleigh mention how he wants to play, and this gets everyone to laugh because, playing as a middle schooler, I guess, is worthy of being laughed at, I guess. I wouldn't know. I would say, in terms of school, the whole bully thing is quite different, I suppose, at least from my experience. And the whole friendship thing, too. And, this definitely has a very old school vibe to it. So anyways, we cut to then Halloween, where they fill up their candy. He uses his youngest brother to essentially get more candy. And then they go to this path that they were told explicitly not to go down. They run into these three teens who give chase, and they manage to outrun the three of them, these three bully characters. But they manage to still get their candy wet, which is something that they were nervous about when they return home anyway. After the fact, so Rally gets hurt by the sport that we see them play at the very beginning, where or the activity where Greg falls a football, and he's like going down this hill with trying to catch the ball while on his bike. Instead, he throws it too far. The ball lands in front. The bike that he's on crashes into the ball. He flips over, hurts his hand. After getting knocked over, the mom hears about this and is like, "Oh, you're in trouble." In a three-way call. I'm not sure how that works at all. So Greg decides to avoid telling the truth because he's like, "Fuck that noise." The father's friend already has apparently something against him, I guess. I don't know. That's only what I can understand from the narration. So he decides to try to become a cartoonist on his own. He does this one that Rally eventually finds, and he's obviously also trying to avoid Rally. So he gets him to go away, and Rally eventually finds some other friend. And while his own work gets edited, Rally's within the same sequence seems to get picked up and not edited, and instead he gets the job on top of him getting the whole treatment of, since he got a broken arm, people were like, we're gonna sign the arm cast, which is something actually that as someone who's been injured and had a cast before, this doesn't seem to be something that happens as often. I mean, that didn't happen to me. At least I don't remember it happening. Maybe it did. I don't know. It was a while ago, so. Anyway. So, in a desperate attempt to try to make Rally jealous, he goes to Fregley's house, and Fregley goes chocolate berserk because he had that one chocolate that was clean. Fregley eats it, and he goes crazy. So, during the next school event, Greg confronts Rally, and they're sort of talking and circling each other, and the kids see that this is happening, and they are indicated that this is turning into a fight, since the volume of which they're speaking increases, and they sort of try to avoid fighting each other as much as conceivably possible, because they actually don't really want to fight. They're just kind of arguing about what was happening. But before anything can go down, the older teens arrive. And they make Rally eats the old stinky cheese. Greg sees this. He's about to also be tormented by the same thing. However, the football teacher or sport teacher comes in just at the last minute, and before Rally could say that it was him, Greg takes the responsibility and said that he was dared to eat this moldy cheese. Thus, as a response, during the next few days at school, essentially they're left alone, which essentially lets them coast through the rest of middle school, presumably. It even shows the bullies being like, "Nope, we're gonna get out of the zone of this." When they go to the school lunch, and then we see them become sort of friends again at the end of the movie, where they play some video games. And that was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This is a short review because the movie, as I just mentioned, is insanely short. There is not a lot of things that happen in this movie. It's primarily based on one book, and it pretty much sticks to just being that, as well as being animated within color, which is, so, again, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, not my cup of tea, even after watching this movie. I definitely feel like the things that are here, feel very old school. And as someone who's watched a lot of, what was it? It was a Nickelodeon show, and it was always all about school. It was, I think it was called Ned's Declassified Something About School. It was something like that. It was Ned's Declassified Something About School. That's something I remember vividly watching as I was growing up. And I think the reason why that stuck with me a lot more is how absurd some of the episodes got, and how absurd some of the situation was. So some of the situations became, on top of the whole, like, obviously, like, the life lessons and stuff you can, learn. Some of the stuff I remember being actually pretty cool to hear about school. Some stuff was obviously more life lesson-y. So it was a mix of those two things. From what I can remember, that show was also pretty old. So again, it feels a lot more old school in its approach. Its school experience is definitely more. It feels definitely a lot more old school in the way people are portrayed and behave. So it's a mix of these things, and I suppose from a point of view, it is probably one of the more faithful adaptations. Probably, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I barely remember the book. But yeah, in terms of trying to be objective, I suppose the movie's fine. There are little bits and pieces that are like, oh, this thing's just happening now, I suppose. So, like a 6 or 7 out of 10, but subjectively, again, just not something I would probably ever watch again or be interested in seeing more of. So with that being said, that is my full review of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And if you ended up enjoying this shorter review for this shorter movie, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. The first to my Discord, the second to my Patreon, and the third to my PayPal. Any request can be found there, or be made there, or any support can also be additionally be made there, and all that good stuff can be done on those things. And with that being said, until next time, everyone, bye-bye.